My name is DJ Fred Ones from TME Studios, DJ for Just Ice, old DJ for Sonic Sum, Mike Ladd, and a lot of other people. DJing is something my cousin showed me. My cousin Ednez showed me how to DJ in about 82, I guess it was. He said, yo, this is what cats are doing now. And he started to scratch. And scratching for me was like how people say you pick up a guitar. It came really easy. Scratching came really easy to me. And by 12, I was good. And by 13, I was doing parties, and it was a thing. Hip hop music is very dear to me, and scratching. I'm not a musician. I'm a DJ. People say DJs are musicians. That's fine, but it's something that I really tried to hard work at, and gave a lot of practice and a lot of effort. And because of that, that's what got me into engineering. That's what made me like the behind the scenes process of making music. By the time I was 19, and being able to go out on my own, I was in college, I was in Chicago. I was doing a lot of DJing in Chicago, so I was doing a lot of loft parties. In fact, how that kind of started was I was out there in art school, and I noticed, man, I could bring my turntables out here because there are a bunch of lofts out here. And that's what I did. I went back, got my turntables, and just started throwing parties. And then throwing parties, I got to meet more people out in Chicago, and that kind of got me into more venues and doing more things and DJing for different people. The first time I got into a studio, I was DJing for my man Tommy Talks, who at the time went by Tommy Boy Ski. And he's the first one that actually took me into a studio, to get me into recording. I'd never been in the studio before to record cuts. So that kind of whole environment was in Chicago, and it got me everywhere. It got me doing little battles and everything like that. And a graffiti crew member of mine told me about someone named Rich that lived in D.C. Rich is Da1, and Da basically put me on to someone else named Mel Scott, who I ended up building our first studio together. Me and Mel Scott started TME together, and Mel Scott knew Rob. Mel Scott used to make beats for Rob, and that's how I met Rob. So it was kind of through friends, a graffiti hookup through friends. And Mel Scott's Omar. Omar had turntables, so I'd go over there and DJ. Rob would come over and freestyle. I thought he was dope. I head back to Chicago, I know this dope kid in Maryland who freestyles. Rob ended up moving to New York, and when I graduated engineering school, moved back to New York, I hooked up with Rob immediately. And that was kind of like my crew all of a sudden. I knew I wanted to do music with these guys. And we started doing music together, just recording, just making songs. There was nothing. Mike Ladd used to work out of a studio named Ozone, and we got friendly with those guys and started working out of there. And working out of Ozone is kind of what helped form the Sonic Sum thing. It kind of helped consolidate everything. We had a place to record, we had a place home, we had people to be around and inspire us. It was Rob's brainchild. He put the band together, and we released our first single in, I believe, '99. My first 1200 was brought to me by my brother, so I was about 15. And my brother's like yelling at me to come downstairs. At the time, I lived in Virginia. I moved all over. And I go downstairs and what's the problem? What's going on? He's like, yo, you got to help me get this out the trunk. We go to the fucking trunk. There's two 1200s and a Newmark mixer, PPD, the big Newmark mixers. And I'm like head blown, like, what is this? And he had bought it from a crackhead for $200. Two 1200s and a Newmark mixer for $200. My DJ stuff I always had. I built up speakers, I built up amps and stuff. And what I would do, I would get like a 4-track here and there. In fact, my first piece of my first production equipment didn't come to like '97 when I got to 2000. So that's like way late in the game. I was actually in engineering school before that, making beats by looping them on a 4-track and bouncing them down to a track and adding another loop on top of that, bouncing that down to a track and getting another sound and leaving tracks open for either cuts or a vocal. And to me, that was real. That was raw hardcore. My first piece of equipment I learned on, Omar showed me how to use the ASR-10. And Omar had it, and he let me borrow it. So that's the first time I had equipment in my house that I could bang on and sample records and put things together with. And thanks for Omar, he let me use it. And that's how I kind of learned how to get around equipment. In around '97, we were able to get the 2000, and I've stayed with that. I bought a 2000 XL just to have another MP around. But I'm a big fan of the 3000 and the 60 and the older MPs. I think the new MPs sound like shit, and the other MPs are just better. What's great about the MPC series that the sequencing is so dope. No matter what it sounds like, you can sequence it so fresh. But unfortunately, the preamps in the newer machines aren't up to par, as what the old machine does. They don't sound like the old machine. The old machines kick. I've always been an artist. When I went to college, I was going to art school, so I figured fuck it, it's done. I went to magnet school in high school. I've been to art programs in Pratt when we lived in Pratt as a kid. So art has always been my thing. I think I remember telling my mom I was going to be an artist. I was going to be a starving artist. My mom never really dug the music side of things, but she was very supportive in the art side. So creativity has just always been my bubble, and I've moved around a lot. I've been to like 10 different schools, so school system was nothing for me. Only thing that I kept was my art, drawing and music, DJing and drawing, and that's what I took with me from school to school. So academics wasn't really my thing. It was more the creative nature. So when I went into doing the studio full time, quit my job with the city. I used to work for the Department of Health, doing tuberculosis, TB control, whatever. And when I quit that job, it was more like, what's your plan B? And I didn't really have a plan B. I just didn't think I was going to fail with music at the time. I thought everything was going to be gravy. It's been a struggle. It's been up and down for sure, but it's still my plan A, and I'm still here. I've got 2 kids. So I haven't really made a beat in about 4 years, so now I'm itching to make a beat. Maybe with enough distraction in your life, you can kind of pulls you away enough that gives you desire to want to come back. I think maybe if you add it enough or you add it too much, it may get dead, or may feel stale after a while. I have a lot going on in my life, so I really haven't had time to make anything on my own or for myself. The last project that I really got involved with, that I did production for, was the KRS Just Ice remix EP. And that was the first time I'm getting back and making beats and being creative and selecting cuts and stuff like that. I hadn't done that in a long time. It has been it's been a struggle just to keep a lot of things balanced in life, and just to be an artist, pay rent, help take care of a family, and take care of yourself takes a lot. And sometimes you got to sacrifice some things, and I sacrifice my own personal creativity, because really right now it's making money as a studio. And what I do in the studio is I record people. People come here every day, and that's my money. We've been in the studio since '97. I think just to be in the studio that someone can go to with the same phone number, it's pretty much that's an accomplishment in New York. A lot of studios have fallen. Studios don't make a lot of money. This is a hard gig, not an easy thing to do. So just to say that I'm 41 and I'm still here, living off of music, and people still call me to mix and produce and do whatever, that's pretty much my accomplishment, I guess. How we initially started getting a lot of underground rappers coming to the studio is we used to work with Ozone. When Ozone folded, they threw me basically, I think, all their clients, because what they did was they sold their equipment. I bought some equipment. They sold some equipment to LP. I know LP was using all his equipment for Company Flow and Def Juke stuff. I don't think they was really open to getting in clients, where I was like, throw me clients, dude, because I was actually asked to work at Ozone at one point, and right when I said no, because we wanted to build our own studio. And when we did finally start building our studio, they ended up closing, so it was actually a good move for me. And when they closed, they threw me a bunch of underground clients. So I got to work with a bunch of cats I respected in the game. Cats from Stronghold, Breeze Ever Flowing, Lifelong, Sea Raised Walls, and that kind of whole circle of cats. And that I was lucky to basically to be in that scenario, to take on those clients, and that kind of jump started us to where we needed to be, and we didn't really have to search for clients too tough. None of this has made me tons of money at all. In fact, what's made me the most money is I had a beat 15 seconds in the movie Prime with Meryl Streep and Uma Thurman. I made the most money off of that than I made off anything in my career. But I think the thing I'm most proud of is like our earlier work, like my creative work, in the sense that it's always been a very original thing. Like, even when we did Sonic Sum, there was conscious effort to be original, to do opposite of what X was doing. Whatever they're doing, we're not doing that. We could be fans of that, but I'm not doing that. And I think to stick to our guns and do that, I'm really proud of that. That first record and even the second record, they're great records, and they sound very different. I mean, it makes me feel the way I felt when I first heard Public Enemy, Didn't sound like nothing I ever heard before. The hell is this? So they did something original. And I did something original that I can listen to, I can stomach, and it doesn't sound like anything. I can really appreciate that. I think that's easier said than done. I think a lot of times when we think of hip hop, we get caught in boxes and genres, and we end up sounding like other people without even realizing it because they influence us so much. So to do something kind of completely out the box with it still, and if you heard the record, it's an out the box and normal record at the same time. It's kind of bugged out. But to do something completely new and like that was a blessing to be able to do and have it come out on vinyl and have it to be distributed nationwide. That was dope. It's not just a job. It's something people used to feel, and now we have a lot of technology at our hands to make everybody musicians. So music is being felt less and less. In fact, the more we look at it on the screen, the more less we're feeling it, the more we're just visualizing it. So I try to make music, or at least be a part of music or a scene that is real and that's felt. We have started a label called Peasant Podium Music, and that's all we're trying to put out. We're trying to put out real music that we like. TMEpro.com. Come check us out. Great studio, a great place. Everybody that you know has been here. Everybody knows us. You can ask around and check us out online, TMEpro.com.